Do you liking other girls' IG photos? Are you cool with that?
Like,
no,
I
just
think
answer that before you tell me what you think.
One has to do with,
before you tell me what you think, which I will happily hear out. Just answer the first question.
No.
No, so you would have an issue with him liking other women's photos on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me what you think now. Go ahead.
How he presents himself and how he chooses to dress and project himself to the world is way different than how he's
perceived.
It's way different than how he's like presenting himself and
I agree. I agree. It's different.
It makes no, like, him liking another girl's photo is not, that is to the relationship. That has to do with our relationship.
Okay, how about this? You dressing revealing.
Right. I actually do go back and forth on that one because I know that, like, I think that's an insecure thing to do for a man, for him to be like, no one can see your body. Like,
your body's supposed to be for your man.
Right.
Or woman,
I
or
mean,
whatever.
I think that he probably wouldn't have a problem with it if I was with him because he would be like, I'm a confident man. I don't like to show myself, but if I did like to show myself, no, actually, sometimes I do. And when I feel like it, I will, you know?
Okay, and when he feels like it, he's gonna like another girl's Instagram photo, not because he wants to fuck her, but because he's like, oh wow, her style is really great, some bullshit like that. But like, how far can we take this?
Hard thing.
Like, how far can we take your logical position? So you're saying, well, dressing and revealing. What if he didn't want you like wearing lingerie in public?
Wasn't that like a Jonah Hill thing or something?
I don't know about Jonah Hill, but you can answer the question.
No, I get that. I feel like when I was younger, I was a lot more.
I do know what you're talking about with Jonah Hill. He was dating a woman, and it was all over the news because she went public and like totally dragged him. And they were dating for like 2-3 years or something. And he was like, hey, listen, I have these boundaries. I don't want you like posting these certain types of photos. I don't want you dressing in this sort of way. I'm Jonah Hill. I'm like, basically, I think he's an A-list. Is he considered A-list or?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not like Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio, but he's like mainstream actor.
For sure.
Like really.
He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So he's like, look, I have a really public facing persona. I'm in Hollywood. I'm in traditional media. I don't want my girlfriend doing this. Mm-hmm. But go ahead though.
I want to say that boundaries, because people always talk about boundaries, one of the big things to remember about boundaries is that your boundaries are not for other people. They're not rules made for other people. You don't say, like, my boundary is every time you come to my house, you have to bring me a cake. You know, it's like
actually that could be your boundary. Wait, question. What about like a rule for, just as we did tonight, people taking their shoes off?
Mm-hmm. That's for your space.
Yeah, but it's for other people. It's external. So like if you have a rule for your house, you have to take your shoes off at the front door. That's for other people.
Right, and then I could choose to not come if I had a problem with the shoe boundary or whatever. Yeah. And so sometimes people's boundaries clash or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like if I had a boundary against taking my shoes off.
Sure. Yeah, you could choose not to do it. And they could also choose to not allow you into the house.
Yeah. Right.
Boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries are definitely for other people, right? Like you tell, say you grew up with like a pretty abusive parent and you're like, hey, I don't appreciate the way you talk to me. I'm setting a boundary. If you continue talking to me that way, I'm not going to speak to you anymore.
Right.
That's a boundary that you're enforcing on someone else.
So you say, if you do this, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And that's my boundary.
And if you dress revealing, I'm going to break up with you. Like it's a boundary. Like if you have male friends, I'm gonna break up with you.
So
like,
you would be okay with somebody not wanting you anymore because of your piercing? Because I would be like, yeah, I'll take it out if you think that looks better, but if you're gonna break up with me for it, then you're shallow.
I mean, it's definitely like an extreme. I don't think it's shallow.
Actually, hold on. I'm prepared to defend this. What would actually be wrong if this was genuinely a man's preference that he did not want, he refused outright to date women with septum piercings? What would actually be wrong with it?
I'm thinking you got together, you had the piercing.
So mine's super small. What if he didn't notice it? before we went out in person. Like, it's so small and it almost blends with my skin because it's gold and I'm brown, right?
That is, to me,
definitely
that's shallow. Like, if he didn't think like Lord Brian, what do you think? If he didn't think like, oh, I like her for her, I like her character, I like her soul or whatever, I like her for her what's inside, then that's shallow. If a little piercing is gonna, like, if a man, like, I had a friend she'd have boyfriends, they'd get a haircut and she'd be like, ugh, that's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
About the boyfriend's haircut?
Right. Like,
think-
some
Okay.
people are more I don't know, visual stuff matters to a lot of people. I think that's normal, but
I think you just shouldn't have the expectation to change somebody when
Right.
you start
That's
dating
true.
them, whoever they are. When you
Yeah.
meet them, you either have to, like, obviously some things, but I think stuff like that, like jobs and the way you look and stuff, is kind of insane to.
I mean, I
mean,
think as a
one-
general rule, if somebody at the start of the relationship is engaged in certain behaviors that you know ahead of time are going to present issues or be even deal breakers further along in the relationship, it's ill-advised to pursue a relationship with them.
Right.
So, like, if a girl's a stripper and you start dating her and now you're in a relationship with her and you don't want her to be a stripper, probably don't date a stripper. But
Exactly.
also, I do think I don't think it's necessarily wrong. I don't think it's necessarily wrong for a man to perhaps either change his position on something or to, like, for example, a woman who goes out to bars and nightclubs. I think this is a really good one that we can discuss. So the man going in might think, well, she's going out to bars and nightclubs not necessarily because this is some fantastic hobby of hers and she really likes nightlife, but because she's single. And his standard could be, even from very early on in the relationship, I accept her going to bars and nightclubs because she's single. And that's what single people do. But now that we've been dating for a year, I'm no longer okay with you going to these venues that I think are more acclimated to people who are single and are more appropriate for people who are single. In the same way, like, you meet somebody on a dating app, well, of course they're on the dating app because they're single, but once you guys establish, okay, do you want to be monogamous? Okay, we should probably both not be on dating apps because this is a contravention of our monogamous relationship. And so my thinking on this would simply be, is like, when it comes to bars and nightclubs or something, or perhaps even dressing revealing, is the guy is making an assessment of, okay, this is what women do when they're single. Women dress revealing, women go to bars, women go to clubs. And look, I'm going to go ahead and grant that you guys go out to bars and clubs and dress revealing for yourself and to have fun. But I want you guys to be charitable back to me and say that one, not all of the reason, but one of the reasons you guys go is for male attention and male validation. You dress revealing to perhaps advertise yourself as available to other men. I'm not saying that's the only reason, but you're going to dress a certain way to perhaps make yourself more appealing to men, and you're going to go to bars and nightclubs not with the express intention of going to hook up or meet a guy. But if a charming, attractive guy comes and talks to you at the bar or club, maybe that's nice and a little bit extra, on a cherry on top.
Right.
And so I don't think it's actually necessarily even wrong if you're now with OF. I think that's going to be a harder position to take going in as a guy if she's already doing OF, because that's related to her money. So if you're dealing, you know, a girl is doing OF and you're going to try and date her, that's a harder sale for her to be like, you need to stop doing OF than like dressing revealing or going to the bar and club.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be in a relationship with a girl who does OnlyFans, don't date from the get-go. Don't date a girl who does OnlyFans. But I mean,
can I interject?
yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. So yeah, go ahead. Wait, sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta let this come through, but then you can interject.
Devon Jackson donated $200. It's also shallow to immediately not like a guy because of some vague interpretation of his energy. We all can be a little shallow sometimes, I guess.
So do you want to respond to that, and then just you can go in with your interjection, I guess.
What I was gonna say. No.
You don't response it. Give him a little response, a paragraph or something. 2 sentences. A sentence or 2. Run on sentence.
Like, I think if we just stripped away everything and we didn't, if we were all just who we were inside.
I mean, that's for Savannah and Katie to do. Never mind. Sorry. That was bad. Here.
What'd you say?
All right.
What'd you say?
You said strip away, and I was talking about their. Never mind.
Very clever.
Because they.
It is. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad that we live in such like a vain world. It's sad. Like
sad. War bad. War's also bad. Crime, poverty, starving
it's
children.
true
in
though.
Africa.
It's no, but this is something that can be fixed. Like we
No, I don't think so. Wait, what can be fixed?
we can all look at the person in the mirror and be like, maybe I won't be so, like, maybe I can care about the content of their character. Like, I can care about their good deeds. And
I don't, when you say fixed, do you mean like global, universally fixed? Like
the
everybody
whole reason
can
why
be
this is
enlightened?
all consumerism. Like the whole reason they need us to think we're not good enough. We have to constantly keep up with the trends. We have to constantly make our face look like this or that, so that we can just feed more money into everything. Like that's all it is. It's just.
So do you think
beautiful.
like sexual attraction is not important in a relationship?
No, I do, and I feel like when you first meet somebody, you can kind of feel if there's a sexual feeling.
And what
Right.
contributes to the sexual attraction? Is it their
trust
looks?
me, it's not the looks.
So you would like bang someone who was objectively a 1
I
just
would
because
make
you liked
sweet,
their
passionate
personality?
love to them.
Okay.
Sweet.
I'm not gonna
Weird.
bang
Okay.
them.
Preference.
I'm not gonna.
Huh. Okay. All right. And then you said you had
what I was gonna say about
an
the
interjection. Go ahead.
Okay, the interjection is there are some women who are party girls, that they are extroverted women and they like to go out and they like to be socialites and they like to have fun. So when you meet a woman that's like that and she has all these great qualities about her and she's like this outgoing girl, that might be something that comes with that, is she's gonna want to go out, even if she's not single, you know?